What's going on YouTube? It's Taylor back here with my second video. Um, I've been trying to figure out what to do for this video and thinking about different things, and basically I was just looking at the subscribers that I got, and they asked me a few questions about what they want to know, so I'm gonna hit those questions, and that's gonna be it. So basically they want to know what I came out as, how the whole thing worked, how it was telling my family, my friends. So let's get going. So first, I thought my whole life that I like girls and different things like that. Like in kindergarten, there was this girl who I kissed, and it was just like I was just trying to say, oh, let's just practice, what it's like to kiss boys and stuff, and she was like, okay, like sure, and so I ended up kissing her, and I liked it, and she was like, oh, let's just practice, whatever, but I played it off pretty well, anyway, and so I dated, a few girls. I came out as gay, lesbian, whatever, toward the end of my freshman year of high school. So I was with this one girl, and it went fine, but like my mom didn't know we were dating, but like everyone else at school knew we were dating and that kind of stuff. And toward toward the end of freshman year, when things were getting a little rough between us, my mom, she kept trying to ask me, and I was just playing it off. I'm like, there's nothing, like I'm fine, nothing's wrong or whatever. But actually, 2 weeks after that happened, my family all went to my grandma's assisted living home, and it was we were all just going to visit her. I had family in town from Tennessee, and so we were all hanging out with her, and I was like, this is the time, like this needs to happen, and I need to just get it off my chest and do it because I'm sick of hiding. I'm sick of not being who I am. So I called my mom into the bathroom, and I was like, Mom, I have something to tell you. And like I started like getting, my heart was racing. I started like tearing up, and she was like, what's wrong, what's wrong? She thought I was hurt, or someone hurt me, or whatever. She totally didn't know what was going on. And I was like, Mom, like I have to tell you something. I was like, but you already know, so can you just say it? And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about, like just tell me what's going on. And so I was started crying and stuff, and she brought her sister into the room, and she was like, just say it, like what do you need to say? And I just kept saying, just say it, like I don't want to say it. And so I said, you know what, Mom, I was like, I'm gay, I like girls, and that's who I am. And she hugged me, and told me she loved me. And my aunt took it a little differently, but you can't expect everyone to be happy and love it. My mom at first, she was like, that gave me a hug, said I love you, but she also didn't come from a very open-minded family. So when you have stuff like that, you're not gonna be an open-minded person per se, coming from a closed-minded family. So it's hard, but there was plenty of arguments and fights that came from that between different people and myself. And I mean, I just made it through it. It really, not everyone's gonna accept you, not everyone's gonna love you, not everyone's gonna be cool with who you are. And I don't know, you just kind of got to go with it, and know that this is for you, and it's what's best for you, because you need to do what's best for you in the end. You're not going to be happy living life as someone who you aren't. And I sure knew I wasn't going to be happy living a life as, a female. So what I was supposed to do, getting married to a man, and I was like, I'm not going to be happy that way, and I want to choose to be happy in my life. So it took a while. Toward the very end of my freshman year, in May, I had a gym class with this girl, and things kind of went from there. I asked her out on May 25th of 2013, of our freshman year of high school. On May 25th of 2016, our 3-year anniversary, I asked her to marry me on the Stone Arch Bridge. So here's a few pictures from that. and on September 25th of 2017 this year we got married. So it all worked out. She's great and so supportive. Her family's great and everything. So I found my wife in high school and freshman year of high school at that. So it all worked out for me. She was great. So we lived as a female lesbian couple, and I knew that something was off. I knew that just something didn't feel right. I kept saying I wanted to be more masculine and do more masculine things in the relationship. And, she was like, okay, like, the stud will do more masculine things or whatever, but I just kept feeling like it wasn't enough. Like, there was something still missing, and it just, like, nothing could fill that void. Nothing, no change in our relationship, just nothing, like, could fill that void in me that it didn't feel right. And so, I thought about, maybe transitioning before in my life, but where I was and how I grew up and in my family, it wasn't going to happen. Like, it just wasn't going to happen no matter how hard I tried or wanted. I was going to be shut down. I was going to be, beat up and just beat down because of it. So I was like, you know what? This is how I'm going to live. I'm going to live as a lesbian because my family can accept that. And when I thought of being trans, I was like, yeah, that's cool. I want to do that, but it's just not going to happen. It's just something that, like, wasn't in the cards for me, And that totally changed. My mindset totally changed when I started dating Fiona and being with her family. They came, her parents both came from open-minded individuals, and they are great. And, she has a little sister, and she's awesome and has been super encouraging to me. But about a year and a half into us dating, I got in the car with her, leaving her parents' house, and she was driving me home. And I just sat in the car, and I was like, I just need to tell you something. I was like, it was just like stuck inside of me for so long. I was like, I need to get this off my chest. And so, she sat in the driver's seat, started pulling out of the driveway, and I just started bawling. And I had no other emotion or reaction other than just like crying. And I've always been a like pretty emotional person, but I couldn't just help but crying when I knew that I was going to tell her that I am trans and I'm not a female and that's not who I am. And that void is just killing me. Like, every day it hurts, and I just need to get it out and do what's best for me. So I told her, I was like, so, how do you feel about being with a guy? And she said before, she's like, well, I've been with guys before, but I love being with you, and, I love you, and I love being in a relationship with you, and so I don't see myself in a relationship with anyone else. So she just kind of passed off that question as, like, me asking, if you weren't with me, would you be with a guy or a girl? And she was like, I don't want to be with anyone but you, so I'm going to be with a girl, I'm going to be with you. And so that kind of, like, went over her head a little bit, but, and kind of, like, turned the conversation. And for me, usually I just, like, kind of shut down after that. I'm like, okay, like, whatever, like, it wasn't the time, whatever. But we kept driving, and it was just, like, still really bothering me. I'm like, I just need to say it. Like, she'll be great about it. I just need to say it. And so I was like, babe, I'm pretty sure I'm trans. I was like, I don't like being a female. I'm not comfortable in it. I'm not comfortable in my own skin. I don't like the female body parts I have. I want to be more masculine. I want to be a man, and I want to be your husband. Like, I want us to be like husband and wife someday, not wife and wife. And so, I was like obviously like choking up through this, so I was really emotional, and she got emotional too. And then she was like, I'm so happy you told me. I'm so happy that you're comfortable enough to tell me these things, and I love you, and I will love you no matter what or who you are, And it was just like the thing, like, I just felt so much love at that moment and acceptance. And she said, let's do it. Let's start the process. Let's get this thing going. And if this is who you truly are, I want to be with who you truly are. I don't want to be with someone that's fake or someone that is just like not living, the way they're supposed to. So I was super happy after that. I mean, that was the whole car ride home, and I was just so happy after I said that to her. I felt amazing. I got it off my chest. I was like, this is so great. And so, weeks, months passed, and she knew it. No one else knew it. and we were talking about like logistics and how this is gonna happen and what we're gonna do and how we're gonna tell the family, and so I actually ended up wearing a Packer before I even came out to my family, and we went to go buy one together. And I was like, I want to make sure this feels right before I let it all out there. And so I got one from this little place. It was just like a crappy one, but it was something. It was something. So I felt what it was to have male like parts and have something in my pants, and so it was perfect. It was like, this feels good. This feels comfortable and normal, and like it was just great. And so the same day that I bought that Packer, we went home to her parents' house, and I was like, you know what, today's the day. I'm sick of living, as a lie to everyone except you. And so I pulled out like 6 sheets of loose leaf paper, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna write this up. I'm gonna come out to my family and her parents and her sister, and I'm just gonna do it, and it's gonna feel great. And so I sat down, I drafted so many different things. I just in my head I was just like, I don't know what to say. There's so much to say, like I obviously want to explain how I've been feeling and what's been going on. And when I sat down and wrote it, so many things came back in my head about when I was a child. And one of them that really stuck out to me was my mom. She bought my sister and I a Dr. Seuss book that's called like All About Me, and you put your picture on the front of the book, and you write, how tall you are, who's your grandpa, who's your grandma, where do you live, how many steps from a mailbox are you, and just different, dumb things like that just to fill out. And the second page of the book, it said, are you a boy or a girl? And so when I wrote this in, I think it was 2002, and I sat there, and the book was on the stove. I remember this, and my sister was behind me, and I wrote boy, and she looked over my shoulder and saw that, and she was like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna tell mom, like, why did you write that? Like, just like, she's like, I'm gonna tell mom, and so I got freaked out, so I took my pencil and just did it as hard as I can over where it said boy, and I was just, like, scribbling the hell out of it, and so I, like, went over, like, hash marks and all this kind of stuff, and then that was all in like uppercase and big, and then next to it I wrote girl like really tiny, and then I just flipped the page and kept going. And luckily she never said anything to my mom about it, and that to me right there is like, I knew at a very young age that I wasn't a girl. I wasn't born the gender like that I was supposed to be. And so I mean, that of many different things happened, and that was just really like, that just really stuck out to me. And I was like, I want my family to see this, and I want them to know this. And so I actually found that book, and I was able to show that to my mom, along with giving her the letter. And so I first wrote the letters up. I gave 2 to Fiona's parent, or 1 to each of her parents. I gave 1 to my mom. I gave 1 to my sister. And when I gave those out, I was terrified. As I was leaving Fiona's house, I said, oh, here you go, like, here's this little thing, can you guys read it? Thanks. And I just was, like, gone. I was like, get me in the car, get me out the door, I need to just not be here, because I was so scared that, like, I don't know, I was just nervous. And so I left, I went to my sister's house, and I wanted to, like, throw it under the door, or, like, whatever, but she has an apartment, so she had to buzz me in, so she knew I was there to see her. And I was just, like, scared. I was like, do I just throw it on the door and run? Or, like, what do I do? And so I went in there, and I was like, hey, guys. And so I just, like, gave it to them, and I was like, see you later. And they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you leaving? Like, you came over here to see us. And I was like, yep, this is it. Like, here you go. And so I left. I literally ran to the car. I was like, I need to get out of here. Like, I don't want them, like, being like, hey, come back here. Like, let's talk about it. I was like, I'm not ready for that. Like, I'm so nervous. And so I got in the car. I drove home, drove to my house, and my mom wasn't home yet. And so I sat on her desk, and I went upstairs, and I just waited. I was like, she'll be home soon, and she'll see this, and that's gonna be that. And so I got a call later, probably about an hour later, from Fiona's parents, and they were just like, we love you and we support you, and I'm so happy that you came out as, who you are, and you know, I'm so happy that you're our daughter's boyfriend. And it was just crazy, and it was so crazy to me that they were just like instantly they were like boyfriend instead of girlfriend, and they were just like the pronouns were like just instantaneous. Like it was just so easy for them. It was amazing. And so I was like super, you know, hyped up after that call, and I was like, this is great, like everything's going great, you know. And I like hung up that call, and then I got a text probably about 20 minutes later from my sister and my brother-in-law, and you know, they're like, we love you no matter what, and you know, we support you. And I was like, sweet, you know. And it was like short and sweet, you know. It wasn't like extensive, like me telling them I have cancer and like this I'm so sorry letter. It was just like, we love you, you know, whatever. And so at that point I was like, sweet, it's gone pretty smooth, like it hasn't, nothing terrible has happened. And so then it was my mom, and that was the hardest one, like by far. And so she got home, I heard her get home, and I just started, my heart was racing, and I was like, oh my god. And so she was downstairs, she read it, I heard her start crying, and I was like, fuck, like, excuse me, I was like dang, like what, like is this bad tears, good tears, happy, sad, like I didn't know what was going on. And so I heard her start coming upstairs, and it was really nerve-wracking. And so she came upstairs, and you know, I kind of just explained, she asked like for more clarification, like what is this, what does this mean, what do you want to do with this, you know, the typical things, you know, as a mom, is she wants to know more. And so, you know, I explained and everything, and the reaction was, it was okay, you know. It wasn't terrible, but it also wasn't ideal, and that's totally okay, because you know, everyone takes it different. It's not always going to be easy, it's not always going to be smooth. So it was rough. It took a while for her to come around to it, and you know, I just knew that I'm doing what's best for me. So that's how I came out to all of them. And from there on, it was just telling people one after another, like friends and stuff, and most friends were pretty good about it. Some, I had one person tell me, if this was what you're gonna do, I can't talk to you anymore. I can't be your friend. I can't be around you. And I was really hurt by that. She was a really good friend of mine, and it definitely hurt me. And so, you know, I talked to Fiona about it. I was like, what do I do? Like, I'm not gonna turn back. Like, this is who I need to be, this is what I need. And she was like, you know, if they really love you, and if they really care about you, they're gonna be there for you, they're gonna be there with you, and it's just gonna work out. And so I was like, you know what, you're right. And so that was a friendship loss, but I've gained so much from losing that person. And so I did, you know, that was one really low point for me in coming out. But other than that, it was pretty smooth. With Fiona's side of the family, it was great. And so, you know, I had some tough things I'm not totally ready to talk about yet. As when I came out to certain people or certain family members, it didn't go like, well, at all like I wanted it to go. And I mean, that's kind of all I want to share about that. You know, it was rough, definitely, and I'm getting past that. I'm doing okay. I'm getting past that. You know, that was a while ago. And so that was kind of the process of how I came out, who I came out to, and then after that, but from there, I kind of just posted a Facebook status, sent some personal messages out to people, like really close family, friends, and stuff, and then just threw something on Facebook, and that was that. Changed my name real quick on Facebook, and you know, obviously got some positive, you know, feedback from that, which it's gonna happen. But overall, like, that's kind of how it went. So thank you for watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll be posting a video in 2 weeks from now. So comment what you want to see, what you want to know. And then in the future, I'll be doing a video about how I changed my name, how I changed my gender, how I changed, well, my name first and middle name, and my gender, and you know, how I started hormones, and what I'm doing with surgery and everything else. So be ready for that video coming soon. I'm trying to get everything together with that. But otherwise, thank you for watching. I appreciate it so much. and I'll see you next time.